Hey YouTube! So today we have a lot of books that I have read that I am going to show you. They're actually all stacked up right over here. It's a huge stack. I had to lean it against the bookshelf or else it would have fallen over. So these are all the books I have read in July and August. Because I think I did a June wrap up. If I didn't, sorry. I believe I did though. But I didn't do a July wrap up, so I'm gonna do that now. And then it's like the end of August, so I'm throwing in my August books as well. And then since I have so many here, I'm gonna do a separate video for my September TBR. Because it's like overflowing, like I have like books just like everywhere. So I'm gonna split it up. So let's just get right into it. The first book I read in July was Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. This one I have like a sticky note on here because I haven't updated my reading journal either, and I usually use that to like remember all of my ratings. So I have a sticky note right now. So I gave this one a 4 stars. I read it. This was my very first book I read in July. Sorry, my dog Ollie wanted to go under the blanket and the camera's set up on that blanket, so it made it fall over, but we're back. Might be slightly different. Maybe I set it up perfectly, who knows? But Keeping 13. I didn't like this one as much as Binding 13, but it was still good. I think it wrapped up their story pretty well, and I have 3 more books I can read in the series, so that's really fun. And I love listening to the audiobook because it has their little like, are they Irish? Irish, yes. Okay, they are Irish. I was like, they have like their Irish accents, so it's really fun to listen to the audiobook. Yeah. Next we have Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown. This one is so cute. Like, look at how pretty. Gorgeous. This one I gave a 4 star as well. This one was really cute. I'm trying to recall what it's about. 2 main characters are going to this wedding, and I think they like knew each other from high school. I'm like recalling this like I didn't even read this book. I swear when I read a book, it exits my brain so quickly. Like, I could barely tell you the premise of this, if I remember correctly, because I also read it like last month, which isn't too long, but my memory is not wanting to work right now. These guys are 2 main characters. They go to their friend's wedding, and then I think the bride like goes missing, so then they go on a road trip, try and find her before the wedding, and then they end up, you know, falling for each other. That's not a spoiler, it's bound to happen in a romance book. So then we have The Return of Ellie Black by Miko Jean. This one I honestly did not like. I gave it a 2 stars. It was a book of the month. Usually they don't let me down. This one just was not it. I think it just went into too much detail of what went on while this girl was missing, and like there weren't any trigger warnings in like the beginning of the book. I'm sure I could have looked them up like on the internet, but I prefer to have them like in the beginning. I mean, unless I missed it, because I did listen to it on audio. No, it doesn't. So I would have preferred maybe some warnings for this one. Then we have Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I absolutely loved Fourth Wing. I gave that a 5 stars. My bracelet got caught. I gave that a 5 stars. So when this book first came out, I know there was like lots of mixed reviews. I just heard like it was not great. And like some people even said like don't read it. But I'm really glad I did. It was actually, I mean, it didn't compare to the first one, but I still really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars, and now I am ready for Onyx Storm in January. Then we have Homes Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I do have my copy, so I have like the little poster, and I got like stickers with it as well. And then she's signed. I went to her little book signing, so that's always fun. I gave this one a 3 stars. I think it was just a little too much backstory, and like we didn't get much of like the action until like over 50% into the book. But other than that, yeah, it was really cool. It's a very interesting concept. These siblings like all get together because their mom just passed away, and they're going through all of like her stuff, and they find this VHS tape, and it's taped over, and it's their dad like covered in blood, and he's like burying a body. So now they're like, what is going on? And then they have to see, do we watch more tapes? Do we go to the police? Like, what do we do? Yeah, it was very interesting. Next one is a nonfiction. This one is 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. This one I actually really did like. He's trying to go under the blanket again. He can't make up his mind. He tries to go under the blanket, and then I try to help him out, and doesn't want to go back under. Lay down. Good boy. 8 Rules of Love. This one I actually really did enjoy. Like the biggest takeaways like I got were in like the beginning of the book, just learning how to be comfortable being alone and not like relying on other people as much for your happiness. There's lots of good like activities in here as well. Yeah, I gave it a 4 stars. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did. I wasn't even planning on reading this book, but it was in my apartment mailroom. I find so many good books in there. I don't know what book lover lives in here, but they have great taste. Yeah, so this one was really good. Then we have another book of the month book. This one was June book of the month. Margot's Got Money Troubles. This one was actually really entertaining. I gave it a 4 stars. I just thought the concept was so like modern. It's about this young mom, and she, as the title says, has money troubles. So she goes and starts an OnlyFans. So it's kind of about her journey with that, and like how people start to treat her, and yeah. It's an interesting, it's actually really funny too. It has like such modern things. I know it was talking about like Fortnite at one time. It's really good. Very entertaining. Okay, this is my last book I read in July. So we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in July. So this was Powerful by Lauren Roberts. She's itty bitty. I don't know why she's this tiny in the US. It's okay, we accept her. But this is the little novella in between Powerless and Reckless. It's Adina's little side quest while Peyton is in the trials. So it was really cute to see from her point of view and like everything that unfolds. It wasn't anything crazy. I gave it a 3 stars. Okay, now moving on to August reads. First one is Reckless. I jumped into Reckless right after reading Powerful. Did I call this Powerless? I think I might have called this Powerless. It is Powerful. I didn't like it as much as the first book. I think a lot of people have that same opinion, because I know Lauren did say this is kind of like a calmer book before the 3rd one, which comes out next year. A lot of people were just calling this like a filler book, and I can kind of see where that comes from, but I think it was nice to see just the progression of the story and how we get to what happens in the third book. So wasn't blown away, but still enjoyable. I gave this a 3 stars. Look, our stack is slowly dwindling down. Then I read Ready Player One. I was not like planning to read this. I think it would have been really fun to read, but I was not planning on it. But I found it again in my mailroom. So I listened to it, and I think there's a lot of details, like most movie book adaptations, that aren't in the movie. So I liked having some of that background knowledge, and it just makes me want to watch the movie again. I think if I read this first, I might like the book better, but I watched the movie first, so I kind of like what direction the movie went, but still really good. I give this a 3 stars. Then we have 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland. So this one is so cool. The swords are like shiny, and then boom, sprayed edges. It's so beautiful. Look at that detail. Are you kidding me? And then it's got some detail on the top, and then the bottom is just this dark color. But it's so pretty. And then I think there's gonna be 3 books. I think it's a trilogy. So when all of the books come out, it's gonna do like a really pretty picture. And I think the second book comes out next year. I'm not sure which month, I just know it's in 2025. I was only connected to like a couple of the characters. I think since it's gonna be like a series, then I'll like connect to the other characters in later books. I think that's the only thing that kind of swayed my rating. So I did only give it a 3 stars, but it was still like really entertaining concept. They hire 5 liars to kill the king and so they have to work together, but since they're all like liars, it's hard to like trust everyone. Then we have Collide by Balcabra. This one is so cute. It's just a little sports hockey romance. Didn't take much brain power to read, so that's always nice. It's nothing really like stood out to me about it. So I gave it a 3 stars, but it was still really cute. Then we have One of Us is Next. I read the first one, One of Us is Lying. Like, it was like one of the first books I read when I started getting into reading. So I read it maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and then I just got this one and the last one in the series. So it was nice to get back into this world because it takes place at the same high school as the first one, and it's basically a copycat of the first book. And then they also have a show called One of Us is Lying on Peacock, and I started watching it a little bit and I stopped, but now I kind of want to get back into it, especially since I'm moving through the series. So we'll see if I watch that. I gave this a 3 stars. I really wasn't that connected to the storyline, to be completely honest, but I have hope in the third one. I think that one's gonna be either my favorite or my second favorite. Okay, and then we have Snow Globe by So Young Park. This one was so intriguing. So basically, in their world, their climate is like in the -50s, so not very nice. But they have this thing called the Snow Globe. People can live in there, but only if they give you access to like film their entire lives, like nothing off limits. And then it's televised for everyone who doesn't live in the Snow Globe. So one of the main characters in one of these little shows dies, but then there is this girl that looks exactly like her. So they give her this proposition. They're like, we'll give your family money if you take her place and be on this show. So she does, and that is kind of how this book starts. I know there's gonna be another one. I don't know if it's gonna be a duology or like a whole series, but I know there will be another one. I think it says spring 2025 is when the next one's coming out. The saga continues. Okay. In the Snow Globe duology. Okay, so it is a duology. Spring 2025. And this one was so good. And even like the end papers, like they're shiny. They're foiled. I gave this one a 4 stars. It wasn't that 5-star feeling, but it was really, really good. All right, last couple of books. We have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This one, again, was not planning on reading, but I found it in my apartment mail room. And it's like a new release, so I love that for me. Yeah, this one was really good. What did I give it? I gave it a 3 stars. This cover is so pretty. I can't stop staring at the pretty flowers. This one is about our main character, our main girl. She marries this guy to get student housing, and then they get like divorced. Almost 5 years later, he shows up at her door and is like, I need you to come with me to a wedding because my parents still think we're married, and that's because we technically still are. The divorce was did not actually happen. So they are still legally married because he has to be married for 5 years to get his inheritance. Yeah, so they just go to this wedding and pretend to have known each other and been in love, been married for 5 years. Okay, next we have the book I am currently reading, and we have ARGYLLE by ELLIE Conway, because I recently watched the ARGYLLE movie, and then I saw that they made the ARGYLLE like storyline a book, so I picked it up. I will say I'm not really loving it, but I do want to see like how it ends and stuff, so I will continue it. But it's not looking great. It's leaning towards a 2 stars right now. Unless something happens and it blows me away, then it could go a little higher. But I'm just like not connected to the story at all, unfortunately. But we'll see, we'll see. Okay, and then the last book, this one I haven't started, I haven't opened yet, but I do have a hold, and it just said it's ready. So I will be reading this. There's like 4 days, I think, left in August, so we'll see if I can get through this. If not, it'll be in September's wrap up, but it's just Ready Player 2. I found this one in my downstairs mailroom, and this was the first one I found. And then I was like, oh, it's like the hardcover, so I'm gonna buy the Ready Player One hardcover. And then before I was able to do that, I found Ready Player One in my mailroom, but it was the paperback, which kind of annoys me a little bit, but it's okay. I'll get over it. Maybe the hardcover will fall into my hands one day. Who knows? So that's the whole reason why I read the first one, because I found this one first. And I was like, I can't, even though I've watched the movie, like, I just don't feel right just reading this one without reading the first one. So we'll see. I don't think the reviews are that great for this one, but I don't know. We'll just have to dive in and see. So those are all of the books I have read in the past 2 months. Like, looking at it all, like, it's a lot. I'm like impressed. I do use audiobooks as my main form of like intake, but I like having the physical book as well. So that's kind of how I get through so many. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.